Namaste everyone. Uh, so this is part of our Niti for New Age series from Samvad Bharati. In that series, previously we have discussed Vidura Niti first 26 verses, which talks about the qualities of wise and a foolish person. And then we started with Niti Sara of Garuda Mahapurana. In the Garuda Mahapuranam, this chapter is 112th chapter, but in the line of Nitisara chapters, it is fifth one. So this chapter talks about qualities and tests and how to select various kinds of servants and subordinates and all kinds of people who will work under a king, and we will find its appropriateness and its relevance in the modern world, particularly for the corporate world or even for an individual level, when you yourself act as a leader. So, in the last lecture, we discussed till Niti 5. Today, we will start with Niti 6 in this chapter. So, it goes like this: Ingita Kara Tatvagno Balavana Priyadarshanaha Apramadi Pramathi cha Pratiharaha Sa Uchyate. So we are talking about Pratiharaha, who is like a gatekeeper. So how that person should be? That person should be one who understands the inner intentions through gestures and expressions, which is basically having the ingita gnanam. In Telugu, they use this word. Don't you have the ingita gnanam? Don't you have that much of ingita gnanam also? Like that they say. So ingita gnanam is the knowledge of like having that rapport with people, that you will understand their gestures even if they don't speak also. So the ability to understand what is not spoken. So such a person, and also should be powerful, have formidable appearance, is ever vigilant, and can forcefully subdue opposition if there is any opposition, anyone trying to enter forcefully. And such a person is said to be a pratihara or a gatekeeper. So, what all what all the qualities we have? Yeah, like I've discussed already. So they can read a person's demeanor instantly. Like someone who understands the body language, right? Just by the body language, they should be able to identify what kind of a person this is. Or even if the leader king itself wants to give uh, wants to tell them something without actually speaking, they should be able to understand, because sometimes maybe a king don't want to allow someone, or maybe he wants to keep something secret and get in like that. Some ways, some things they might not be able to speak, but want the gatekeeper to understand. So they should be able to have that ingitakara tatvagnaha, someone who can read the intentions. Balavan, they should be powerful. Apriya darshanaha, so they should be serious. They should have an intimidating presence, because if the gatekeeper is soft, sweet and approachable, and does not looks calm like that, then people won't fear, right? If you don't fear a person, you try things, you act mischievously. So they should have that appearance also should be apriya darshana, so that commands respect. Yeah. Apramadi, someone who is ever vigilant. A moment's carelessness, because the guard have to be very careful, especially when someone is guarding a king's palace. This works even in office spaces also. Pramathi, someone who is decisive and forceful. So if some threat is identified, they need the capacity. They should have that capacity to neutralize and also act without hesitation. They should be fearless, kind of. In the modern world, corporate world, we have the guards that is there for sure. Apart from that, there are people who are like the head chief security officers who take care of many things that can cause harm. There are no, it's not just tangible or people that come in and attack the companies. There are other things that can also cause trouble to the company. So someone who takes care of that through compliance, right? It is through compliance a company keeps check on threats or possible threats that might come in the future. So they are the organization's most critical guardians of the organization's most critical assets. It could be data, infrastructure, or people. So all this is done through compliance. So they should be able to understand the intentions, like they should be able to read intentions. Uh, Even it could be like even if the person is not visibly present, sometimes if a mail comes, let's say a phishing mail, or maybe some WhatsApp text, some attempt of hacking or something, they should be able to identify what the other person is thinking and why this is being sent, because these messages, the ways people attack organizations are very tricky, and sometimes people fall for it. But the chief security officer should be able to understand that. They should be powerful, they should have the authority, budget, and executive backing to enforce security policies across the entire organization. So they should have that power that should be given by the head of the organization. They should have a formidable appearance. They should be strict and thorough, and they should not compromise on anything, basically. Ever vigilant, always monitoring and staying ahead of emerging threats and all. They should be decisive and forceful. They should have a clear plan for whatever thing that might happen, even after taking all these things. So it's a parallel. Back then we had, I mean, even now we have these kind of people who take care of organizations. There's guards and all. There are also guards that protect data, assets, people, and also finances, all that. So that is also there. So what are the five main qualities? They should be having. They should be able to read intent. They should understand the body language of a person. They should have strength. They should have presence. They should be able to deter threats. Vigilance. They should be vigilant all the time, active, sharp. They should be able to act without hesitation. You can check this understanding, like your understanding through this scenario. Try answering this. And if you're a leader, you can see if you want to hire someone, how will you hire? Like what all qualities? From this, you can list down okay, what all I should check if I'm hiring a security officer or maybe a security guard also even for the office. So see what all things to check for, and then you can also download. You can use this as your own journal. You can come again and write things again and again, or you can create your own sheet to keep track of things. Okay, the next one, yeah, scribe. Scribe is called as a lekhaka. So how a scribe should be? मेधावी वाक्पटुः प्राज्ञः सत्यवादी जितेन्द्रियः सर्वशास्त्रसमालोकी हेष साधुः स लेखकः. So a lekhaka or a scribe or someone who is there to communicate or record events, that such a person should be medhavi, should be intelligent, well read, eloquent, vakpatu. There should be the ability to use the communication skills and the strength of language that should be there. They should be wise, not just intelligent, but also wise. Wisdom is like more like having that ability to draw a sense of knowledge and find the right thing to do and all. That's kind of wisdom. Truthful, they should be truthful because that's when they should be able to communicate what is being said exactly. And self control, jitendriya, so that no personal personal intentions and personal biases come in the writings. So they should be self controlled or jitendriya. This quality of jitendriya is very important in whatever role. Any role, there could be uh, n number of problems, biases, troubles, or all kinds of things in your own mind. But when it comes to profession, always be a Jitendriya. Never let your Indriyas control. I mean, not Indriyas only work, but never let distractions, other personal things come in into the profession. It's basically that. Not mixing personal and professional life is one way of saying a person is Jitendriya. And well versed in all scriptures. They should be well versed in all scriptures. Such a virtuous person is a true scribe. So what is it? The scribe is someone who keeps king's voice and memory. A note taker, basically. Someone who communicates. Also, these notes are used to communicate to people also, like what's happening and what policies are being made and all. So they draft what's happening. If the words are poorly chosen, or if it is not communicated well. For example, journalists act as scribes these days. If journalists, yeah, they are like scribes only. Or this one, PIB, I think, Press Bureau of India, uh, and some media that government runs, they are like scribes of government. They communicate the policies and what the king or the ruler are doing or trying to do. So they are like that. Also, I think we have scribes in yes, we have scribes in the parliament also, in the courts also, in almost, I think, all the high level government offices, because all of it needs to be recorded. So they should be medhavi, vakpatuhu. They should have the eloquence, pragna, satyavadi, jitendriya, sarva shastra samaloki. As I explained before, you can read through them. So in the modern world, these people are like someone who does this communication. So corporate communications, a technical writer also, a policy advisor, or a legal counsel. These people kind of are like scribes. Again, same qualities they should have. The relevant, the kind of knowledge that these people have and the kind of knowledge that someone who works under a king or a ruler have could be different, because depending on the requirement again. So here their server knowledgeable means could be a deep understanding of the industry, company, products, and regulatory environment. And rest all are almost like same, because it's same: intelligence, eloquence, wise, truthfulness, self-control. All this should be there. So you can test your understanding with this scenario. Try answering this, and you can use this journal again to, if you're hiring someone, you can use this to evaluate. Basically, since this chapter is all about various kinds of employees and subordinates and people who should be appointed under a king, so this is all like HR manual, but it works for everyone. Like, even if you yourself want someone to have a lekaka, or someone to communicate your views to someone in the world, or you yourself want to communicate to the world, then you yourself again can become a scribe for your own self. Okay, so many your own selves, huh? Yeah, you can use this to write down whether they have. This quality you can elaborate on this. This is something you can elaborate on. See, even a panchayati head can have a scribe, or a MLA can have a scribe. See, they should not be dependent on some random news channel or some random newspaper, right? They should have their own scribes to communicate, to record what's happening, all that. So if you're someone who are planning to become a leader or someone, then if you should hire a scribe for your own self. These are all like limbs of a king. So even if one finger gets cut, you won't be able to function properly. Okay, the next qualities of an ideal envoy, Duta. It's also a kind of a diplomat. So how they should be? Buddhiman matimam chaiva parachittopalakshakaha kruro yathoktavadi cha esha duto vidhiyate. Intelligence is a non-negotiable quality that should be there. Wisdom also kind of a non-negotiable quality that should be there. A perceiver of the minds of others. So they should be able to understand what the other person be thinking. That's when they'll be able to present their own views in such a way that it brings victory, or it gets some deal. They should be stern and one who speaks exactly as instructed. We'll just see such a person is appointed as a Duta. So, who is a Duta in the case of Pandavas? Shri Krishna goes as a Duta. So, Krishna has all these qualities. He is intelligent, wise, a perceiver of others' minds. He and stern, unyielding, speaks exactly as instructed. So, these are the qualities. Yeah, we'll just see raw intellect is buddhi, to be able to differentiate, discern between good and bad, right and wrong, all that, and analyzing situations and be able to act accordingly is wisdom, mati, perceiver of others' minds, non-verbal cues, basically. So these non-verbal cues, it's very important to learn because I mean, this is also a kind of an intelligence, and I think people ignore it. We are never taught actively about this, but this is a very important part of communication skills. So make an effort, even from YouTube or somewhere, to learn these non-verbal cues. Kruraha, what does it mean to be krura? It is to being firm. They should not be what we say soft and be, if you're soft and if you cannot negotiate your own terms, then you will be pursued, and I mean you will be persuaded and you will be taken over. That will cause a lot great loss to the king. For example, I think we have our own duta, right? For Bharat, yes, Jayashankar ji, he acts and he speaks like a duta only, with all these qualities. And then Yathoktavadi, someone who speaks exactly as instructed. In the modern world, it's someone who negotiates, also a business developer, salespeople, and all. Someone who, making deals, someone who goes out and presents the product or the service of the organization, or makes deals, or someone who goes out getting sponsors or maybe partners. It's that person is kind of a duta, and they should also have a similar qualities. it's about it's about having this clarity, who should have what qualities, and be able to appoint them in those kind of positions. You can try again a scenario and use this journal to make your decisions a wise decisions. If you're trying to build an organization, you can see what all who are all there in your own uh, checklist or in your own list, and who can be kept in which position. You can use these qualities to assess them. You can build on it. You can personalize them, or you can maybe contact us to personalize for your own self, and you can always save them again and again as many times as you want. The next niti, dharmadhyaksha, it's basically a judge. You can see, if you know any judges, or if you follow news, if you follow news from Supreme Court or High Courts, you can see who is there in the judge position and if they have these qualities or not, and how they should be. Samasta Smriti Shastragnaha. Smriti. What is Smriti? Right after Shruti. Shruti is Veda basically. Veda gives us details on what should be done, what should not be done, kind of. And and when that is codified, when that is made into more coded way, like a constitution or a law book, then it becomes Smriti. Whatever, like even if you take some book also, Ramayana also, what is it trying to say is you should do this and you should not do this. If you do this, you will get this result. If you don't, if you do this, you will get these results. So it's basically all scriptures. If you see one in one way, in one of the lenses, they're all saying do this, don't do this. If you do this, you will get good results. If you do this, if you do this, you will get bad results. So basically that, even all sciences, everything is saying that only in at one level, at a human understanding level, on a societal level. So that shastra is Smriti Shastra. And smritis are some, like, why there should be a judgment, why there should be a judgment for whatever actions that a person does. In the Smriti's case, it is basically to help person get rid of that patakam. So when a patakam is something that pulls down the jiva present in the body. So we know that we have life. So that life or life force or something that makes us alive, that is called as a jiva. And that jiva is so it's think of it as an energy ball, and it is floating at some certain it is at some certain energy level, vibrating at some energy level. And if you do patakas, if you do something, if like whatever that pulls down or reduces its vibration is pataka. So the lesser the vibration, it goes into lesser forms of life. Lesser forms of life means lesser freedom basically. We humans, we have a certain level of free will, even though not a complete free will, but we have certain level of free will. But when it comes to animals or some beings, they act on impulse, or they have a little freedom compared to what we have. So that's what it means to reduce the vibration of your own life force is a patakam. So whenever someone does a patakam, what is done is some punishment or some prayashchitta needs to be done, so that it is again set back to its, it's again same level of vibration, so that the person acts as a human. Even in a human body, there can be a lowly vibrating prana or life force that can make them act like animals. You might find people acting like animals even in world. People getting angry for no reason, or doing like getting lusty, or maybe even raping people, or crimes, all kinds of things. Like that is an uncivilized behavior. So such an acts happen when the life force is vibrating at a very low level, and that needs to be fixed through punishment or through prayashchitta. And such prayashchittas or punishments are given in Smriti Shastras. and also they give how to maintain that and how to rise it. Even you can rise it to higher levels so that you get more and more levels of freedom, right? Even if you are a human, different humans have different levels of freedom. A poor person cannot act, maybe poor person not a good example. Some people can act with greater level of freedom, and some people cannot act with that level of freedom. That is because, again, the life force is vibrating at low levels. When it vibrates at low levels, it the person cannot act with greater freedom. So it's about that. As you increase that vibration through acts that are mentioned in Shruti or Smriti or Itihasas or Puranas, if if one acts according to dharma, basically, they rise their vibration and they attain higher levels of freedom as they start going high and high. So it's about that. So one should be knowing smritis, then only they'll be able to fix that vibration at a life force level, consciousness level. Basically, we are fixing consciousness, bringing it back to senses, like that. So, yeah, one who knows all the smritis and shastras is a learned scholar, pandita. Pandita is someone who will not have a biased view. So, Samadarshina is a Pandita according to Bhagavad Gita. Someone who, yeah, basically a judge should not be biased. They should not be seeing one as high, one as low. They should only be seeing the evidence. Based on evidence only, they should be able to give judgment. And then Jitendriyaha. Yeah, this is again, like I said, is a very important quality, and that should be there. One should have conquered their senses, because only when you conquer your senses, then only you can act with full professional level, or full, like, true to your profession. I mean, you maybe a person is not a Jitendriya, but they can always try to be a Jitendriya. It's better to be a Jitendriya at least at the workplace. That is like being professional in the work, even when like at least when you are working, not letting your personal life getting into the professional life, kind of. And is endowed with qualities of courage and valor. There should be courage, because even if you know dharma, even if you know what's right, if you don't have the courage and valor, you won't be able to give the judgment, proper judgment. So that's why that is important. That comes, and that comes from, again, knowledge and having that understanding of Parabrahma, that is there. But they themselves, if you yourself are right, are someone who follows truth, then you get that courage and valor. Courage is something, it is said to be, no, the person, either they have to be a truthful person, honest person, that person will have courage and valor, and a person who is mad. So only these two people are said to have, greatest levels of courage. So such a person is fit to be appointed as head of justice, dharmadhyaksha. In modern terms, it could be the chief justice. So if you see in our present systems, we don't have, or maybe they know a little but not completely, or not trained in these things, smritis and shastras. That's why it's very important to understand these things, because you live by those things and you're trying to put that in a different lens. You're saying valid we don't accept them, we don't consider them as valid or useful. And moreover, you're not, like, they're saying ki we don't even consider them in the first place, kind of. So that's the reason why we get judgments, like the judgments that go against temples, particularly, most of the times, and other things that hurt the sentiments of people who follow smritis and shastras. Yeah. Then yeah, it's again same whatever I have explained. Modern relevance, there are chief legal officers, ethics and compliance officers. They should have deep expertise in corporate law, regulatory compliance, intellectual property, all those things. They should have that jitendriyaness, self control, so that they don't do any manipulation or use their power for their own benefit. They should be courageous and valorous. So, how you will check for courage and valor? You check whether the person is honest. How honest, the level of honesty defines courage and valor. Yeah. Then you can check your understanding using this. You can use this to hire, like if you're hiring someone. Again, same qualities are being kept here. You can also use this to add more qualities to this in the same boxes, make it more specific and personalized. You can always download, like I said. You can use this to, when you're hiring, it's all this chapter, it's mostly about hiring people. So yeah, you can use it. The next one, ideal chef, supakara. Huh. Do we have chefs in the office spaces? We have, right? We have canteens. We have canteens and pantries also. So what kind of, even at our homes, we of course have our own people to cook, and in hostels, the chef is a very basic requirement in many places, and how that person should be, or even you, if you yourself are a chef, and these people, I think this will be helpful for someone who is running food business, restaurants and all, and also for someone who delivers food like Zomato and Swiggy. Because people complain, right, often complain about the quality of food. So how that person should be, how a chef should be, they should have, oh, I'll read the verse. पितृपैतामहो दक्षः शास्त्रज्ञः सत्यवाचकः शुचिश्च कठिनश्चैव सूपकारः स उच्यते. They should have ancestral expertise. It's a good thing to have because it should come from the family. Like you can teach people how to cook, but it only comes with experience. And if that experience is passed down from someone who already know, like someone like even in their own family, if there are chefs, then it's good. Not like you should always look for someone like that, but you can find if you can, or else it's okay, you can train someone. There should be expertise for sure in the sciences of food. One of the books that I came across recently is Bhojana Kutuhala, that has some food sciences. And of course, you can follow chefs. There are many. I was a big fan of Sarah Todd. She's a chef. She's an Australian. She's having one restaurant in India also. I think in Goa. So there's this channel, I think Fox Life or something. They do these cooking shows, and we also have, even in India we have some chefs. Sanjeev, I think, I don't remember his name. Yeah, so that expertise should be there. You can learn always. This cooking of food is not like some random slavery thing. It's a real skill. Okay, they should be skilled. They should know the relevant sciences. See, cooking itself is like an experiment. It's a lab setup and all. It's a medicine that we are making. Food is medicine, basically. Is truthful. They should be truthful. Is clean and pure. Shuchi is very important, yeah, at a personal level, or for a chef it's very important. Please be clean and pure. Try to maintain that hygiene. and is firm and resilient. So such a person is said to be a good cook or a chef. I don't know if the compliance agencies check for all these things, because I find it very difficult to find hygiene. I mean, I so if we go to some bigger restaurants, maybe we find some hygiene, but I still doubt it. I've never entered their the spaces of chefs. But in general, the places where we get food, where we buy food from, they're all so troubled. It's almost as if we are eating some semi poison or some poison food kind of. Food is the most corrupted thing, and it's a very problematic thing. Okay, that's why this understanding, this should be there for the king. If the king knows what kind of chef they have, and if they are kind and they treat their own people as their own children, then they will appoint good chefs. They will take care of the food and how it is cooked and how it is grown, all that. If there is no knowledge, and if people just come to power just by giving provocatory speeches, then it's difficult. We need people who have knowledge. Knowledge is everything, guys. Knowledge. So this is how this should be. See, we have hereditary experience, expertise also in cooking. There are people who does this in villages. In villages, people bring for marriages. When we bring chefs, we bring people who have that hereditary experience. Yeah, all the qualities that I've discussed. So even in office spaces, if you're keeping some canteen or some chefs inside, make sure they have these qualities, all of them. That expertise, scientific knowledge, honesty, unyielding resolve, hygiene, all that is very important. You can try this for your own understanding, and you can use this journal to see if you're hiring someone, or if you want to test someone, like see, like rate someone on these scales. You can try this. Yeah, try doing it. No, why not? I mean, you can go to some random restaurant. I mean, if you're visiting some restaurant or some place, you rate, right, on Zomato or Swiggy or some food delivery apps, or even on their own pages. When you rate, try to rate on this, like using these qualities. I mean, people do it anyway. Yeah, physician, Vaidya. We have doctors. So do we have Vaidyas? Let's see. So how a Vaidya should be. आयुर्वेद कृताभ्यासः सर्वेषां प्रियदर्शनः आयुः शीलगुणोपेतो वैद्य एष विधीयते. Okay, one who is well practiced in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is basically Ayuhu plus Veda. Ayuhu is life force basically, and Veda is knowledge, the knowledge of life. Not just how to sustain it, how to protect it, how to rejuvenate it, how to elongate it, all that. I want you to notice it's not allopathy or homeopathy or anything, it is Ayurveda. One who is well practiced in Ayurveda, who has a pleasing demeanor to all. Yeah, they should have that softness. They should look at people with kindness, kind of, and is endowed with longevity, because the doctor themselves cannot be sick. You don't go to a sick doctor to cure your sickness. You want to go to a healthy doctor. Then it's not just about learning, it's also about knowing and practicing and living that knowledge. So yeah, don't we don't want to be treated by unhealthy doctors, right? There are many things. It's not just about whether they like they could be knowledgeable. They might be having the knowledge. It's not like that, but still they should have this longevity. They themselves should be having that health, good character. Yeah, that's a must. And virtues, Sheila and Gunas, they should be like they should be possessing these qualities. Such a person is fit to be appointed as a physician or a Vaidya. This is what is said for a king, and this works for others also. These are just surface level qualities. There are, in fact, many tests, many ways how a Vaidya is appointed. I mean, in the Ayurveda text, we get these details. But for now, this is also enough, right? So promote Ayurveda because Ayurveda is the science of Ayuhu. That's what helps in longevity and good health, all that. It is the least explored subject, even though there is so much of literature about it and there's so much of things that are in practice somehow due to some colonization or something. But you can always pick up these subjects, and there are many interesting and beautiful things in it. There is, I'm sure people are working on this, uh, but it should be very common. Like if you get sick, you should have the option to go to Ayurveda doctor also. So that will be good if we develop our own. I mean, whatever science that is best. It's also about. It's not about developing our own things and all. It's about the best. We want the best of all. So there can be the best in the allopathy. There can be best in the Ayurveda. So we want all of the best services in the world. That's when we progress, right? We live in a very beautiful world. We don't want to put a mask and go to a hospital, and yeah, it's a troublesome place. A hospital is, of course, and it's also a costly place. Okay, the next same, like I said, these are the qualities. Even if you are hiring someone or keeping a vaidya for your own workplace, also try to keep both, because it's good. People have, like, you should give choice to people. You can test your understanding using this question. You can use this to hire or even check for people if they are a perfect Vaidya or not, even within the Ayurveda people. The next one, royal priest. We are not keeping priests these days, isn't it? We are not keeping permanent priests. We are keeping priests that will come, who will come occasionally, maybe for festivals and all. But Sri Rama in the Ramayana, in the Kashchit Sarga, I think 100th Sarga of Ayodhya Kanda, when speaking to Bharata, he mentions two three times. He asks whether there is a Purohita, Agnihotri, who performs yagnas and all uh, on time to time basis. So it's important to conduct those things also, to have a Purohita, because we need someone who will kind of communicate to natural forces, basically devatas. So that is done through purohitas. What a purohita does is for everyone. It's not just for themselves or for the people who have invited them for the puja. It's for everyone. So how a purohita should be: veda vedanga tatvagno जपहोमपरायणः आशीर्वादपरो नित्यम् एष राजपुरोहितः. See, the purohita is not some random priest who will scare people in the name of God. They are someone who understands, learns Vedas and the Vedangas, knows their essence, who is devoted to japa and homa. and who is always inclined to giving blessings, to give blessings. Such a person is royal priest or Raja Purohita. Because we are talking for a king, a Purohita can be there in a for a organization, for a family, for a village, for a community. So a Purohita is like one who can, there are unseen, unknown forces in the world, and we don't need to fear them. We don't need to fear and pray to some unknown entity and be expecting nature to be kind to us. We can act with the prescribed methods which are tested and which work also. So that can be done by a Raja Purohita who is well versed in the Vedas and Vedangas, because we ourselves cannot may not have time and all to read and dedicate our lives, but a Purohita is someone who has dedicated their life for this study and practice of Vedas, Homas, and all. So yeah, you can try this. This also helps. It brings peace to the world and also the prosperity. If you see, India was a rich country. It was super rich. In fact, it was flourishing like anything. All that was possible. One of the reasons is there are people who were working, doing all the things, but whatever you do, it should give results, right? Who gives results? Who gives the phala to your karma is devatas. If you put a seed in the soil and if you put all the fertilizer, water, everything you give, even then the seed might not grow. Why it won't grow? It won't grow because maybe the natural forces or the devatas are not giving the energy or not giving the tree or the results to that action. That for a tree thing. But even in general, if you might act, you might work hard, do all the things, but until you know, I mean, until the devatas are not happy, they won't really give fruits. So think of it like this. They so I think even in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna talks of this. So devatas and the humans, devatas are basically, okay, it's Diwali guys. Okay, devatas are basically natural forces. Uh, they are like real things, some intelligent beings you can think of like that. And we have ways to communicate or have a relationship with them in a mutual exchanging manner, and that is through yagnas, pujas, all kinds of rituals that are said in the world. I mean, in the Hindu world. And they are important. If they are not done, there could be problems, there could be diseases, there could be unknown natural calamities. That's why it's very important to perform these things, and it is the responsibility of the king or the ruler to do these things once in a while during main tithis and all. Unfortunately, it's not something that comes into constitution or something that the king is really bothered or should be bothered in as per the constitution and the laws. But still, it's something that one can take up because it is something Sri Rama has talked of also, and it is our practice, and we should do it. Okay, so yeah, there should be a adhyatmika guide. Yeah, not spiritual. Adhyatmika is a much is something related to Atma or the consciousness that lies in us. So there should be Veda Vedanga Tattvagnaha. So it's very important. Vedas and Vedangas. They should be the master of these things. So that's why there should be institutions that teach and train people on these things. So other things, as I've said, yeah, Japa Homa Parayana and Ashirvada Paro Nitya. In the modern world, also, there should be Adhyatmika guide for organization, for the leaders, someone who will, the role can be like a chief culture and ethics officer or someone like an organizational sage because for every king, for every leader, there was a Adhyatmika guide. No Kshatriya was without a Brahmana. I mean, the Kshatriya, of course, needs the support of Vaishyas and Shudras, but the guiding force was a Brahmana who was well versed in Vedas and Vedangas. So, such a person should be there. I would say Vedas and Vedangas are really important, and the person should be knowledgeable in them or some derivative of the same knowledge like itihasas, Puranas, or even Tantra Shastras, but not something that is not really connected to Vedas. So there can be a role of organizational sage within an organization who will guide people on dharma. So same qualities again. That's what can keep organization together and prospering. That's for sure. Prosperity is important. That that connection to the organization, the deep connection that we are doing something great, that comes when there is some guiding force who will say, who will give meaning to their karma, right? Ultimately there should be meaning for whatever you're doing. uh, I mean, the meaning could be family and all that, that is for sure. I mean, it's okay, but even within organization there can be a meaning. So such a person, like an organizational sage or a Raja Purohita, can be there for organizations also. Okay, someone who understands the tattva, dedicated practice, someone who is also a practitioner, and someone who is benevolent, kindness, blessing nature. Okay, you can use your understanding here by testing, I mean, you can test your understanding using this scenario. You can use this journal if you're planning to hire someone. If you haven't hired anyone for this role particularly, you can try. It's a good thing to have one person like that. Some once in a while they can come and give talks, and it need not be one way passive or delivery kind of thing. It can be two way. You can ask questions. You can have a samvada. That's how people brought knowledge, right? There was samvada between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna and Draupadi and Yudhishthira and Pandavas, Rama and Sita, Rama and Vasistha, Rama and Vishwamitra, Shiva and Parvati. So it's all a samvada. Samvada is the culture through which knowledge has emerged. So you can have a samvada with such a person. You can bring them and have samvadas. Yeah. The next one. Okay, lazy leader. Okay, we will continue with this from the next lecture. This is a new subject, kind of. So, till now, it's mostly about hiring people, and now some dangers, and I think we still have some roles. Yeah, it's about dangers basically. Okay, okay, this is Niti Sara from Garuda Mahapurana. Thank you so much for joining. We will continue in the next session.